What's up everyone? In this video we're doing a deep dive for season 1 episode 9 of House of the Dragon titled The Green Council. We did breakdowns for the first 8 episodes already. We got links in the description, so check those out if you haven't already. We ended the last episode with the death of Viserys, and that's exactly how we kick off this episode. Alicent's maid Talia finds out about Viserys' death and tells Alicent and Otto. Alicent then tells Otto that right before he died, Viserys told her that he wanted Aegon to be king. We know that he wasn't talking about this Aegon, but hey, nobody on the Hightower side is questioning it.
Her story to Otto feels genuine. It sounds like blissful ignorance the way she delivers it. But Alicent cared for Viserys. I'd guess she wasn't truly in love with him, but she cared for him deeply enough to feel something when he passed.
A small council meeting is then called and Otto breaks the news to everyone. We find out that Otto and many other members of the small council have been planning for this day for a long time. They have an intricate plan laid out for Aegon's rule and how they'll defeat Rhaenyra. This takes Alicent by surprise and she's angry that they were scheming this entire time. Our boy Lyman Beesbury objects to all of this. He's 67 years old at this point and is a veteran in this game. He doesn't believe that Viserys would choose Aegon at the last second, and he's also skeptical that Viserys' death wasn't caused by murder. I fucking love Beesbury. He's a man who stands on business. Unfortunately, Criston Cole has serious anger problems, and when he tries to violently get Beesbury to sit down, he accidentally kills the man. Once again, why isn't Cole in jail?
R.I.P. Beesbury. In a weird way, I think Otto likes that Cole is utterly devoted to Alicent, so this murder may have actually earned him brownie points in the long run. Also, as it turns out, Beesbury is the only loyal guy at the table who also knew Viserys' tendencies, because it is very out of character for him to change his mind like that.
Otto, meanwhile, is unfazed by Beesbury's death. In fact, he locks the doors and says no one can leave until they have their plan figured out. Beesbury's dead body is right there, but planning takes precedence. Basically, being the first to know about Viserys' death gives Alicent and Otto's side a major advantage. They can get ahead of Team Rhaenyra. It's only a matter of time until news of the king's death gets out, so time is ticking. Sir Harold Westerling is also a stand-up guy, and he resigns as commander of the Kingsguard and walks out of the room. He says he only serves the king, and since there's no king, he's not taking orders. He removes his white cloak and walks out of the room, and nobody dares to stop him.
Westerling is a man of principle. He stands in contrast to Cole at a few points earlier this season. This one is the most clear.
Now, there is a major issue that Team Alicent, aka the Greens, have to deal with. Aegon is nowhere to be found. This is bad because he's supposed to be the king, and if they don't find him before news of Viserys' death gets out, Aegon's life could be in danger. Otto sends a 2-man search party for Aegon, the twins Eric and Eric. Both are members of the Kingsguard, but Eric with an A has been protecting Otto, and Eric with an E has been rolling with Aegon. Obviously, Otto tells them that they must be discreet. I'm just going to call them A and E because the Eric shit is so fucking confusing. Since E is with Aegon all the time, he knows how much of a monster he is. He takes his twin brother to a disgusting neighborhood in King's Landing called Flea Bottom, where children fight to the death in pits. Apparently, Aegon loves spending time here, and E points out that Aegon has fathered countless bastard children, and some of them fight in the pits. Aegon is a fucking monster.
The twins help to show the key theme of the episode, and maybe the season. One's personal sworn duty versus doing what is right. Is it really worth it to serve someone like Aegon when you know who he truly is?
There are no signs of Aegon at the pit though, but some girl does come up and tell the twins that she can take them to Aegon. However, the woman she works for will only negotiate with the Hand. This leads to a meeting between Otto and Mysaria, who we know has been running this spy network and has been getting info from Talia. Otto doesn't believe that Mysaria knows where Aegon is, but when Mysaria offers her condolences for Viserys' passing, it becomes clear that this woman has eyes and ears in the castle. Otto offers up money, but Mysaria wants one more thing. She's disgusted by the child fighting in Flea Bottom, and she wants it outlawed. Otto says he can look into it, and Mysaria then tells them where they can find Aegon. This entire meeting is being secretly watched by Aemond and Criston Cole. They were sent by Alicent to find Aegon before Otto does. Here's why. During the initial small council scheming meeting, Alicent realizes that Otto plans to kill Rhaenyra and her family. Alicent vehemently disagrees with this and wants to offer Rhaenyra a deal instead. Once Aegon becomes king, he'll be the one who decides Rhaenyra's fate, so finding Aegon first and controlling him is very important. Alicent sends Cole to do the job, and Aemond tags along. At first, they go to the Street of Silk where the brothels are, and that's where Daemon took Rhaenyra all those years ago. A woman tells him that Aegon isn't there, and she actually recognizes Aemond and says he's grown up a lot. We learn that Aemond wants to be king himself, and he's actually been the one taking all of his duties seriously. It's unfair that Aegon is the heir even though he's a lazy fuckhead. Aemond has a great point, but it is what it is.
The more we learn about this guy, the more he has in common with Daemon. The second son who is much more skilled as a fighter and has more ambition than the first son, but it doesn't matter because rules are rules.
Aemond and Cole have no luck finding Aegon, but they do get lucky when they stumble upon the meeting between Otto and Mysaria. Okay, before we cover what happens once Aegon is found, let's take a break and talk about the shit that's been going on at the castle during the search for Aegon. Let's start with Rhaenys. She's still staying at King's Landing and she's been locked in her room. Obviously, Rhaenys poses a danger to the Greens since she has a dragon named Meleys. Meleys is currently chilling in the dragon pit, so the Greens want to keep Rhaenys locked away so that she can't get to her dragon.
Yeah, you gotta nullify any threat she may pose as part of Rhaenyra's alliance too. They still want the upper hand as they transition power to Aegon. It sucks, but it has to be done from their point of view.
Alicent pulls up to try and convince Rhaenys to join their side, but Rhaenys isn't easily swayed. She also calls out Alicent and says she's definitely thought about sitting on the Iron Throne herself.
It's hard to flip someone's opinion when your pitch is, everyone's abandoned you, might as well hop on the bandwagon. Alicent tries to strike a common bond because the two are intelligent women who influence the men who don't truly deserve their power. Creativity points are there, but it's not enough. Rhaenys makes a fair point too. She's done all this maneuvering for what? To hoist her degenerate son and manipulative father into true power?
Everyone else in the castle gets the same treatment as Rhaenys. Servants and maids are temporarily locked up, and Otto then calls the rest of the lords into the throne room and notifies them of Viserys' death and Viserys' final wishes for Aegon to be king. He says they can't leave the room unless they pledge loyalty to Aegon. Most of the lords bend the knee, but the few who don't get escorted away, most likely to the dungeons. Lord Caswell is hesitant to bend the knee, but does so anyways after seeing the consequences. However, he fucks up and tries to make a sneaky escape, gets caught, and then gets hung. God damn, man, the Greens are moving ruthlessly. Anyways, back to Aegon. Mysaria gives up where she stashed Aegon and the twins find him. However, they are intercepted by Cole and Aemond and a four-way fight breaks out. But midway through the fight, our man E decides to run off. He spent the entire search trying to convince his brother that Aegon is unfit to rule. It looks like he's made a decision on where his loyalties are. Aemond manages to subdue Aegon as he tries to run off. Aegon screams about how he doesn't want to be king. In fact, if Aemond lets him go, he'll get on a boat and disappear forever. This would mean that Aemond would be the king. You could see all this hit Aemond really hard and he's really thinking about maybe letting Aegon go, but then Cole interrupts the moment and says they gotta bring Aegon back.
Aemond is growing on me a little bit. He's for sure evil, but we're starting to understand his angle more.
Aegon is brought to Alicent, and then she confronts Otto. She tells him that Aegon is under her control, and here's what's going to happen. Aegon will have his coronation as king tomorrow at the Dragon Pit. Criston Cole will be the new commander of the Kingsguard, and Rhaenyra will be given a chance to surrender peacefully. Otto has no choice but to agree.
Otto's primary goal during this scene is to turn the screws here and reassert control over Alicent. In turn, control over Aegon. She finally confronts the manipulation we've all seen since the jump. Otto makes fair points about sacrifice, but what has he himself sacrificed? Alicent makes fair points about not being evil. Her plan makes a ton of sense in the world of manipulating a population to obey a new king. You need to consolidate power immediately if Aegon will truly have a chance at successfully ruling.
Later on that night, we get a pretty wild scene. Larys and Alicent are having their normal 1v1 meeting, and Larys tells Alicent that he knows how Otto gets all of his information. In exchange for this intel, Alicent needs to show Larys her bare feet. Larys gets off on seeing her feet and tells her everything.
The feet on the table was a real aha moment. There are many possible explanations for this deviant behavior, but let's just leave it at he's a sick bastard. Or should I say, sick second son. Also, enough with this guy's flower and pollen metaphors. This represents another instance of a man controlling and manipulating Alicent.
Larys says there's a network of spies in the Red Keep, and one of the spies is Alicent's own handmaiden Talia. This network has existed before Otto, but Otto is the one who's very liberal about using it for information. Larys says that he can destroy the head of this network, and we then see him light Mysaria's house on fire. We never get confirmation on whether she's dead, and since we never see a body, cinema rules means that we gotta assume that she's still alive. So this brings us to Aegon's coronation. He's pouting the entire time about being forced to be king. He also doesn't believe that Viserys chose him to be heir. The old man had 20 years to name him heir, and he never did. It's obvious that he never liked him. None of this sound logical reasoning deters Alicent, as she tells Aegon that he needs to be a good ruler and merciful, but Aegon is more concerned about whether his own mother loves him. The citizens of King's Landing are all escorted to the Dragon Pit. Our man E breaks into Rhaenys' room and frees her, but they also get caught up in the scrum and have to walk to the Dragon Pit. Otto tells a crowd of thousands that Viserys is dead and his dying wish was for Aegon to be heir. Aegon then walks out, and I'm not gonna lie, fuck Aegon, he's a piece of shit, but damn, this walk was kinda badass. As Aegon wears the crown, the crowd starts cheering for him, the adulation goes right to his head, and we see him do a 180 and immediately embrace the power that comes with being king.
I don't know if it's a deeper reflection into his character, but when he's pumped up, it looks like he's motivated by darkness and obligation. It constantly appears that he's just coming off a 4-day bender. Maybe he is. Aemond is, of course, jealous as hell.
While this was all going down, Rhaenys quietly snuck away from the crowd and found her dragon Meleys. Very fortunate that this coronation happened to be at the dragon pit. She interrupts Aegon's celebration and breaks through the floor of the dragon pit. It's absolute chaos as thousands are scrambling for their lives. The Greens are helpless, just standing on the stage while Meleys is there before them. Rhaenys has a chance to melt them all right there, but she spares them and flies away.
Huge moment from Rhaenys. Put this clip on her Hall of Fame reel. It would have been great if she could have killed them right there, but I'm guessing the bit of kindness Alicent showed her at the start of the episode prevented all that. Also, the fact that Rhaenys does not want to be the reason a war breaks out, even if Alicent's side started it.
Alright, that does it for our episode 9 breakdown. One more episode left in season 1. Appreciate everyone for watching. Catch y'all later.